engaging, enlightening. The Ken and Mike Show. And now, Ken and Mike.
And now, Ken and Mike.
Ken and Mike. Welcome
Ken and Mike.
to the show, Michael. Welcome.
I just like hearing us introduced. It makes me feel like I've arrived somewhere.
You have.
To the studio.
Yeah, to the studio.
I have arrived.
You have arrived to the studio. I didn't close the door to give the real effect of these foam pieces.
I don't think people know what you're talking about. You can't see the foam
Yeah, you
pieces.
can't see the
I don't
phone.
care. I'm talking to you.
Oh.
I haven't talked to them yet.
Oh, okay.
Now I'll talk to them.
Kenny, how was your week?
It was good.
Good.
How was your week?
Awesome. We're
Yeah.
back here doing the Ken and Mike show. My whole life just revolves around it coming to this. I just love this.
I know it does. I know.
No, but anyway, we have an awesome show.
We have a great show. Thank you very much for tuning in. By the way, right away, first, again, thank you. And also, make sure you go to the BMGnetwork.com. We have a whole host of things for you to look at and listen to. One of them things, yeah, so one of those things, speaking of hosts, is the Pac-Man podcast with the Pac-Man, Ted Flint, who has a great column up, which is about time to cancel the cancel culture. You can get that at the Pac Perspective at the BMGnetwork.com.
Can we please cancel culture?
I hope so.
Please?
Yes. And he has a brand new episode of his show, the Pac-Man podcast, which is entitled "The World Is Watching Us," and you know,
Sometimes it feels like
it does.
Somebody's watching.
Now the whole premise is that he talks about on that particular thing, and I want to make this clear. You've seen the memes. I've shared some of them with the golf ball hitting Biden as he's falling up the stairs.
Oh, come on, I sent that
Yeah.
one. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Now
Some people get very offended by little things like that. You know?
I know, but they can do it to Trump though. It's no big deal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though.
Orange man bad.
Yeah. It is a serious situation though. And that's what Ted kind of goes on. And it was who was it? Who's Billy Graham's son there? That's always talking now. He's like Franklin Graham.
I was like,
Yeah, Franklin. The only one that we know. Yeah.
that guy.
So basically, he's saying we need to pray for our president, and he's right. He's right.
He's not wrong.
As hard as it is to do. Now, I'm not saying that it's hard to do. We do pray for our president, but laughing at these things is fun too. However, what I mean by and Ted goes on to explain why it's so serious is that there's an obvious decline in his health and his cognitive abilities. It's obvious. So we need to be praying for that because this is the leader of the free world. And that's when he says, you know, the world is watching us. They're watching him and his administration.
World leaders are watching us. I said that in the last
Yeah.
show. I mean, world leaders are watching us. I mean, it's disgusting.
So make sure you listen to the Pac-Man podcast, his newest episode about that. And also, I have a brand new feature on my because I've been busy about things here. I have a brand new feature on my podcast. If you go to the Ken Burns Show on the BMGnetwork.com, you can check out the desultory thoughts, which in this particular segment I talk about. We love George Washington, right? You love George Washington?
Yes.
Why do we love George Washington so much? Now we could say he's a Christian, all these things, but he didn't want to be the leader. He didn't want to be. The second time especially, his health was declining. He didn't want to be, but he did it because people wanted him to be so badly. He was an amazing man, incredible navigator, incredible at war. But one of the things that was so great about it, what I love about it, and I think you guys would agree, is that if you look at, and I do encourage you to read his inaugural address at its entirety, because in April 30th, 1789 is when he gave it. The second paragraph specifically, he really takes a moment to say, and he later on says, I can't suppress these thoughts. I have to say this and talk about this providential, amazing God that we have. And it's the reason why they just came out of this war, and all of a sudden he's standing there and he has a whole paragraph dedicated to why. And so you don't have to question where the glory is given and where it's due. You know it, but people, and you can read it for yourself in history. It's not a question of whether, did they give God glory? Did they really? He did, obviously, in an inaugural address to the people of the United States of America.
It was commonplace.
It was commonplace, yes, exactly. And they stood united, even the government at the time. Look, and I contrasted it to where we are today. Now, I didn't have to say too much. I just highlighted the second paragraph and just spoke about how they may bust down the foundation of the United States. They are doing that.
They may,
but listen,
they will.
They will. And when they do, guess what?
They are.
There's a foundation that they can never, ever break. And that's the heavenly foundation that they'll never, they can do whatever they want here, as sad as it is. But there's one foundation that they'll never destroy. And that's the bottom line. And the founders knew that.
I agree.
Anyway, so you can check that out at thebmgnetwork.com. Anyway, Mike, we're going to talk about immigration. What's up? There's a lot there.
There's too much there.
Right?
I mean, I've been watching all the coverage from various outlets that we like to call fair and balanced, obviously, right?
Fox?
No.
Whose ratings have dropped?
I don't even watch Fox anymore.
Yeah,
but
me
anyway.
either.
I watched ABC, NBC, the different coverages, and then here in the shop
Your faves.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Here in the
Yeah.
shop we have Newsmax.
Yes.
On. Obviously, they have a political bent as well.
Yes,
they all do.
of course.
But just the contrast and the difference of coverages is almost laughable.
Oh,
it's completely laughable. But that withstanding, you cannot at all, for the life of me, say we don't have a big problem. We have an enormous problem.
What's that problem?
I mean, we spent, $86 million just to house illegal immigrants?
I think it's way more than that, but that's a number that we know of. I mean, if you talk about all the of what else the benefits that they've been given thus far, how much we're spending at the border to keep the crisis under control, which is not under control, and then $86 million for what? Hotel rooms?
Yeah, to house these people.
And they put a number up there too. I think it's if it's 1,200 people, that's about a $395 a night hotel room. Have you ever stayed in a hotel room for that much money?
Yeah, you get a nice hotel room for that amount of money. That amount of money.
What the heck is going on?
I'm assuming they have them at the Days Inn and they're feeding them too. But I mean, come on.
Which, don't get me wrong, we have enough food in this country to feed people. Okay, but if they would start doing something, which by the way we were doing something right in the last administration, keeping things under control, keeping people out. Not for the purpose of so they can never come here, but so they could do it the right way, so that we wouldn't have a crisis. Now look what is happening.
Well,
and Trump's the bad guy.
I mean, it comes to the point where he's doing this just in spite.
Oh yeah.
But we had talked prior to the show that I had heard a statistic today on the news, and I didn't know the statistic, and I can't verify this, so I say this in general. But apparently, 50% of our nation's drugs and narcotics come from the southern border. I'm pretty sure that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I don't think...
I mean, I can't validate that, but I'm pretty sure that statement is accurate. I would argue it might even be more than that.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay? So let's just say for loose numbers, 50% of all the illegal drugs and narcotics come smuggled in from the southern border. We'll just say that for argument's sake. Regardless of your opinion on immigration, how us right-wing, conservatives are racist against Mexicans. We don't want them here. Pull that political ploy all you want. Say that's true. If you are Joe Biden right now, and if you are so much a president for the American people, your thoughts and your concerns, regardless of the immigration status, you should shut the borders down on the principle of 50% of illegal drugs are coming in from the southern border. And the havoc that wreaks on the American family and the American population.
Exactly.
Just in that alone, period.
Yep.
I don't care which way you want to side on the argument of immigration. If that's happening, if that's a problem, then that's your excuse right there to shut the border down.
Yes. Yep. Unfortunately, what stinks is that the border was technically shut down.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you even see the interviews? They're interviewing illegal immigrants at the border now, and they're asking them point blank, why are you coming here? Well, because Biden was elected.
Right.
Well, I remember watching the reporter point blank ask this person, Would you have done this 4 years ago or even last year when President Trump was here? Absolutely not.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, Joe Biden had to go back and say, he explained, no, I would tell them to leave, basically said something. Like, they think I'm a nice guy, and that's why. No, listen, you and your administration have allowed this. You've signed executive orders. You've stopped the border wall being built. You're pretty much undoing everything, like you said, in spite of our president before, who I would still love. I wish he was still there because we wouldn't be having that crisis right now.
It is in spite because he even has his own political party leaders turning against him right now.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, Newsmax reports. I don't know who this Bruno Lozano is, but apparently he's a Democratic mayor from Texas, which is a border town, Del Rio. He's even asking Biden, whose side are you on?
Yeah.
When your own constituents are asking you and challenging you, you have a problem.
Right.
This isn't the Republican governor down in Florida, DeSantis, asking him. This is one of his own Democratic affiliates, a party member saying, dude, whose side are you on?
You ever think about this? You know the saying that we have here, let me say it many times, the land of the free, the home of the
brave.
Right. That's that latter part. Why do you think that's emphasized? Why are we? Why
I
are
don't know
we?
where you're going with this, but
I'm talking about we are flatlining this whole thing, letting people come in. So I guess where I'm going with this is that we're the land of the free, right? And the home of the brave. The reason why we're so brave is because we protect this country, okay? We protect the people of this country, and we protect our borders so that people can be free here. When you just say, come on over here, it's so free, you're not protecting anyone here. You're doing a disservice to the people of the United States, and that's not saying that everybody else in the entire world are horrible people. However, again, we've talked about this many times, but the culture in these places are much different. Their governments are much different. You can't just come on over here and they're expecting free things because that's what our government is touting.
right. Well, I think it runs deeper than that. I mean, we've mentioned this many times. It's a concerted effort by the Democratic Party to change the landscape of America.
100%, yeah.
To redefine what America is. Now, if we can disrupt the culture, not give it a face anymore. I mean, what constitutes a country? What makes a country a country?
Borders, language, and culture. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Borders.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, they're making concerted efforts. They open it up. They want to change the entire landscape of what America looks like. If we don't have a culture, we don't have a country.
Sure. Yes.
And if we don't have a country, it automatically results in them gaining full control, which is what they want, and they're able to enact whatever drastic policies they want to enact.
Yes, absolutely. And that's exactly what they want to do. Now, by the way, a friend of mine who I say friend, somebody that I used to actually work with a little bit back when we were in radio. Her name is, and she ran against Paul Taco in the last election.
You said Taco.
Yeah, whatever his name is, Tonko. the idiot that somehow is still in there. Liz Lemery Joy.
With sour cream and cheese?
Maybe. I don't know. Are you a sour cream kind of guy?
Yeah, I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you?
Guacamole's disgusting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I understand this guy.
Who eats guacamole?
I do.
Yeah, explain
and
everything.
avocados
Do you eat
by
guacamole
themselves.
No, not really.
See?
Yeah.
It's 2 against 1.
Yeah. See, you're
Guacamole's terrible.
You're saying that because you don't like Latinos.
He likes Latinx.
Yeah. Watch your pronouns.
Watch my pronouns. Sorry, Michael.
Michelle.
It's Michelio.
It's Michelle today.
Okay. And
I'm fluid.
You're Where am I going anymore right now?
Flowing, right?
Speak. So listen. And
Can we disrupt Kenny any more tonight? This is great.
You spoke of Newsmax. Now I like Newsmax. I mean, they are. By the way, I got to tell you, one of their slogans, "Real news for real people." So who the real
As
news?
opposed to
Exactly. I love them, but what are you talking about? What other beings are getting the news besides real people?
I'll go on the record and I'll admit I have a problem with Newsmax.
Okay.
Okay, I watch it.
Yeah.
Because it lines up with my way of thinking.
Right.
Obviously,
Right.
you're going to watch something that obviously speaks to you. Just like you hang out with people
Right.
that agree with you.
Right.
Usually, typically.
Right.
But they can't be any more politically bent.
Right. Of course.
Just watching them, it's not balanced.
no.
In the least.
But I don't think they ever say that they're balanced.
No, but they say real news for real people. I
Right.
mean, well,
It's real news coming from their perspective. So that's cool with me.
I mean, but we got
real people.
We
though, is
have
my-
to be fair.
yeah.
If we're going to call CNN out and NBC out for being so one-sided, because you can tell what their political affiliation is and where they bend. Newsmax, we got to do the same thing. I agree with you, but everything isn't Biden bad.
So Jim Cook says they are not spending that much. It's just to show on paper to pocket millions. I get what you're saying.
Well, yeah, probably.
You're probably right, Jim. Yeah.
I got nothing to back that up,
Yeah,
but probably.
right. Yeah, I mean, look at how much they're doing very well.
If we're using the stimulus as an example, 9% went to the American people in support of or to help us with our COVID relief. Where did the other 91 million?
Well, I got to tell you,
91% go?
I've heard a lot of stats on percentages of when inflation hits, and it obviously pretty
we're
much.
going to be in trouble.
Well, here's what's
Big
being
trouble.
said. Think about computer chips, which are very important right now. People are even Ford has been saying like, oh yeah, they're okay. We're going to do okay. We're just waiting on certain things. You can't be waiting on certain things for production to take place. Computer chips are a must right now. So these are the kind of things that are happening. Now, they're saying that I forget how many years, not that many. You're going to see your money. Like people are starting to get into like intrinsic value goods, like something like, for example, let's say a great Mustang that's worth $100,000, and they might have that for the intrinsic value, so they can have something to trade at some point. Some people might be storing alcohol and cigarettes, and I mean this because they know eventually when somebody needs something, they're going to trade something off because money's not worth anything. They're saying that for every say $100, that $100 that you have in a bank is going to be about $51 worth.
Awesome.
So I mean that's kind of where we're headed. So thank you. I mean this has been going on for a long time. It's finally hit. It's just gotten a lot worse. It's not getting any better. And that's the problem with all this stimulus. And the frustrating part is all this money. Hey, you know what? Let's just print a couple $100 million more just so that we can give it to some of these people that are coming over here too. I mean that's
the problem. You can't continue to print money
Yeah.
if it's not backed by anything.
yes.
It's not going to do us a darn
Yes.
bit of good.
Yes.
I mean, it's not really not going to be literally. It's not going to be worth the paper it's printed on.
That's right.
And if like you just had mentioned, if my $100 bill is only going to be worth $51,
Yep.
and our answer is to continue to print money and throw money at a problem, eventually, where's the ceiling?
Right. Yeah.
Because the next calamity is going to hit the United States, and the Democratic answer is throw more money at it. Okay, fine. So now my $100 bill is now going to be worth $20.
Right.
Okay, and like you said, now it's going to be about not so much what I have in the bank or in my wallet. It's what's in my back and what's in my house that I can trade for, a loaf of bread. Pretty soon, I'm going to trade a quart of oil for a loaf of bread.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen. Yeah.
And it's
kind of the old ways of doing things. That's what happened after the Roaring '20s. The Great Depression hit.
Yeah.
So what did people do? They traded things. That's what they had to do. They had no money. I mean,
And what's the
starving.
solution? The ultimate solution is
leave the country. Yeah.
That too is round them all up, but no, it's start over from scratch.
Yeah.
And we're headed down that road. I
Yeah.
firmly believe that.
Me too.
That inflation, the onslaught of immigration. Now, we've said this many times in the show. We have no problem with illegal immigrants as a people.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the point. But if we want to preserve our culture and we want to preserve our country and preserve some sort of safety net in this country, we need to stop this, and we need to stop it now.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I mean,
start pissing off Americans more.
Right. Exactly. Right. I mean, that's the
and
reality.
Then they're going to
yeah.
look at us like we're the crazy ones, we're the evil ones. That diplomacy is how you deal with it. Well, obviously we've tried talking here at the Ken and Mike Show. We've tried talking here in the political theater. They've tried talking.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we're realizing it's falling on deaf ears.
Right. People want to communicate, and if talking isn't working, they'll find other ways.
Right.
Right.
And I'm
That's what
not
you're getting to.
right. I'm not condoning that, and I'm
Right.
not announcing, go get your pitchforks and your
Right.
torches and let's start burning things down. But I do believe that is going to be the ultimate end.
Yeah.
People are going to have enough. You've pushed them far enough. I mean, we're supposed to be talking about immigration, but let's just take a look at the Colorado massacre that happened.
Yeah. Jim says bring Trump back is the answer. Now, Trump, by the way, I've heard some cool things that he's possibly starting his own social media platform.
Yes, I saw
It's
that.
It's going to be the most excellent platform ever. It's going to be the best thing ever.
I probably will be. I mean, and on top of that,
Super.
yeah. And yeah, people. The thing is though, he's going to have what is it? He might be running for something when it comes to he believes that we can take the House back. Whatever though. What does that essentially?
I'd love to
what does that
see him
do?
run for the Florida congressional seat. That'd be awesome.
Look, I just want him back in some way, some shape, and some form.
It doesn't have to be him. I wouldn't mind it being somebody like him.
But isn't it amazing? And I know we're kind of getting off a little bit. Isn't it amazing though how we've had he was an excellent president. No, I don't care what anybody says. Look at this. Look at the facts. Look at the evidence. Look at what happened. Look at the border. Look what's happening now. Look at how he was not funding Planned Parenthood and all these other disgusting organizations. And look where we are today. And now, and they blacklisted him and all his buddies, and people had to leave him because people were being threatened. This guy, who takes somebody off of social media in every way, shape, or form? Only somebody who's a real threat to their platform. And that's what they were doing. And now because he doesn't want anybody to follow any of his ways, because, okay, if we can get him out of the way, people will stop observing him. But that's not going to happen. That's not going away. He's not going away. And even if he did, his followers are not going to be going away, because we still believe what we believe, and we're not going to stop believing what we believe.
Yeah, whether you agree with him or not,
Yeah.
there's no denying the following that he grew.
Yeah.
That he
The audacity.
created.
Yeah.
There's no denying the culture that Trumpism created.
Exactly.
There really isn't, and that's something now that has to be reckoned with. You have 75 million plus people that will basically go to war for this guy.
Exactly.
And it's that's something the Democrats can't just sweep underneath the rug. Whether you agree for Trump or not, or the whole party, the whole agenda, that's not the issue here. The issue is you got a big base to deal with, and if you're going to alienate 75 million people, billion people, a million, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a big problem.
Big
on your
problem.
hands. And I just back to what I was saying. I love how the Democrats are just want to throw money at things, or try and change everything with a big sweeping brush. You saw what Biden's mentioned today about wanting to have the Senate start issuing something in regards to gun control.
Yes.
Over what happened with in Boulder.
Yep.
That's not going to stop it.
No.
I just love the knee-jerk reaction to everything. Anything that you can tug on the American populace emotions with, they'll grab onto and do.
Oh, big time.
Just with the racism thing, with we talked about before the show about the Asians, being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're being attacked. I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is the American media finding every little thing that they can grab onto and now spin it to a talking point, spin it to an agenda.
Well, did you see the footage of what's happening over in Florida for spring break? Some of the fighting and stuff like that?
No, I didn't. You were talking about that.
This is the stuff they're not going to show any of that, though. I'm not going to say who it was that was beating people up, but but they're not going to portray that in any. They're not going to, bring that out for the media to blast it anywhere, because it's not according to the narrative. So it's not a white person doing something to somebody else, and that's just, if it is, that's what they're going to bring out, and they're going to keep going back to systemic racism. Now, I'm not saying that this isn't happening to Asians and stuff like that, but at the same time, we have to look at where we are today. We have some people who are. There's this great video of this black guy who's out there saying, like, do I look oppressed to you? I mean, he's saying, he's like, I'm not oppressed or suppressed or any of these things. He's like, this is a lie. He's like, and honestly, he's like, if you don't like it here, if you can't see where we've come from in this country and where we came out of and how far we've come, he's like, I'm sure I can get enough people together to help foot the bill for your way out. Like,
absolutely.
So that's what I would say to anybody. If you don't like it here that much, if you are so sick of different things, go somewhere else and see how free you really are. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
I agree with you. I just think the Boulder thing. Going back to that, or the thing that was it Boulder? Whatever. What happened in Colorado? Going back to that.
Boulder, yeah.
Okay. I know the second it happened, not the second, but immediately after it happened, they grabbed onto a race thing again.
Oh, yeah.
White shooter. Do we even know the nationality of the shooter yet?
I believe that I heard that he was Caucasian descent, but most places aren't going to focus on it.
Okay. But I mean,
So
the second they see that it's a white shooter,
Yeah.
immediately it's got to be race.
Well, do you remember what we talked about a few weeks back? I think I mentioned a story about we were talking about BLM and one of the heroism, the heroic people that they follow. It was a female,
yeah.
who shot point blank in the face of a police officer back in the 70s, and this person is just touted as one of the most amazing people. So you can lift these people up for doing such heinous crimes because it was in the name of their way, like of what they wanted to get to. We just have people just randomly killing people for sometimes no reason at all. I mean, and again, you have to keep going back to the it's usually white on white, black on black crime, especially in the black community. The black on black crime is horrendous. But I guess that's our fault for the suppression that they feel. That's the narrative that they'll pull. And that's just got to stop. Things have got to be called for what they are, or it's not going to get fixed. If you can't actually state the problem and you can't get to the solution.
Why immediately when a crime happens, though, is it white man shot so-and-so?
I don't know. It's funny.
Or black man
yeah.
Shot by so-and-so.
Correction.
Yeah.
It's not a Caucasian.
Oh.
I was just looking that up. It is not a Caucasian. Ahmad Ali Alawi Alisa does not sound like Jim Smith.
I mean,
Hey, wait a minute.
He could if he converted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I made an assumption.
Wow, Mike.
I apologize. I'm
That's
sorry.
not allowed in this country
Wow.
anymore. You can't assume anything.
You're right. He's definitely from Iowa.
But
growing
it is
corn.
very interesting. I'm reading CNN's headline, and it says
I'm reading CNN
and it
headline
says
too.
the 21-year-old suspect.
Okay, yeah.
And then it doesn't even go into who it
Yeah.
is yet into the next paragraph.
It's got to go. It's going to take weeks for it to come out.
But
guys.
if it was a
Yeah.
guy who was of Caucasian descent, his name would be there instead of suspect.
Well, if they can't push the race narrative, immediately it goes to sensible gun control
right,
legislation.
Yeah.
So.
and that's what it goes to.
Even if the guy, even if it was a white Caucasian guy that broke out of a mental institution, they'll come out and be like, "Oh, he must have been a Trump lover." Yeah, he was.
We saw the bumper sticker.
Yeah, we saw it.
It was on the back of that Ford pickup
that he stole.
Yep.
But that's why he stole it.
Matter of fact, I think there was a gun rack in the back window
Right.
too, and it had one of them assault rifles.
Oh my gosh, it did. Yep, it looked like one anyway. It was scary looking. Anyway, it's just listen.
You got
It was a
banned
big
airsoft.
It was
Yeah.
a big bang stick.
Yeah, right. It's a big bang stick. But here's what's the kicker and disgusting to me is that when you look at the administration and who's running our country right now, and these are the people, and if you go, all you have to do is YouTube them and Google them and look at all their statements and all their back history, and you're gonna sit there and listen to them tell, oh, they just want to suppress you, and you know we got to be careful what we do, and we got to do more for the black community. I'm like looking at it, I'm like, what the heck?
That's why it really shocks me that Biden even got elected. Because how many times did he just say some stupid?
Just recently.
Just recently.
Yeah.
I mean, leading up to the election, he's going to put you all back in chains.
Oh, yeah, I
Who
know.
gets away with saying something like that?
As long as he's being utilized, as you said, in your conspiratorial,
Yep.
when you had your tinfoil hat on.
I just want to say, the last 4 years, I was not in chains or
Yeah.
half chains.
Yeah, right. Who really has been? I mean, honestly, come on. I mean, who is struggling? Who is really struggling? And the home. These are the same people who are running states like California, who have disgusting poop all over the stinking city from homeless people. And I'm sure people have become homeless just because it's better for them over there.
But that created jobs.
Right. Good
It
point.
created jobs.
Yeah.
The crap
That's
cleaner.
what it was. Yeah. Right. Good job, Mel. Yeah. Okay.
No, I wasn't saying he was a crap cleaner.
So I guess we should say, if you want to be homeless around our area, go ahead. We can start our own company here too to clean up the neighborhood.
That's sad.
Yeah, K&M Cleaners. Okay, so here's the thing though too. I want to listen. By the way, for whoever listens to this now or later, here's what we're gonna do. If you haven't checked out the BMGnetwork.com, go to the BMGnetwork.com. If you just go to the About page, you can contact us there. It's info@thebmgnetwork.com. Go there, say hello. The first 5 people who do that will get a BMG Network T-shirt. That's what I'm going to do. Or a mug. You can choose. You just tell me. Tell us. And that's what I'm going to do for you.
Who's making these T-shirts?
Well, you guys are. I'm paying.
making these mugs?
I'm paying for them. I'm paying for them.
Okay.
So you guys will just do what I tell you to do.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, listen. People like free stuff, Mike.
Whatever happened to the Ken and Mike mugs?
I don't know. We still owe
So he
people
just
some
wants to
kind of
push
like.
the network now. Forget the Ken and Mike mugs.
You know why? It's because I care about the people that are part of this network. You don't. You care about only this. Okay. You need to start becoming a team member.
Hey, I have a great solution.
Okay.
I'll be the media, the independent between the Republican and Democrat.
Oh.
How about you put on one side, or some of them,
Yes.
BNG Network, and on the other side, BNG Network and the Ken and Mike Show. And
I'm fine with that. Whatever you want to do.
The Pac-Man Podcast.
Yes.
And
Yeah, he'd be cool. He'd have some cool mugs for him too.
Yeah, dude. Listen, you tell me what kind of T-shirt you want, and I'll foot the bill because I would love to be able to get some of our merchandise out there.
You better make a disclaimer.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Say it now.
It has to be a BMG Network T-shirt.
Yes.
Make that disclaimer because you get some phone calls, people asking for some real weird stuff.
It's got to be a BMG Network T-shirt. Nothing else. Yes. Okay, you can't have a nude Mel or anything like that. So
That's a T-shirt I don't want.
I don't want to make.
Oh, you've dreamt about it. Listen. Anyway, go to the BMGnetwork.com. Check out some of our stuff there. That's what I'm imploring you to do, really. But if you do contact us, I'll hook you up with something. We'll hook you up with something. K&M, we got Ken and Mike mugs that we can give. We can make. We're gonna be doing some new. We got some new media aspects when it comes to that Mel's in the works of making for our show for Set Apart with KC, who I failed to mention thus far. Check her podcast out as well, and the Pac-Man podcast, my show, your show. A lot of really cool looking stuff that'll look great on a T-shirt and great on a mug. So you tell us what you want from our network.
Get your mug on a mug.
Get your mug on a mug. So that's what I wanted to say. So anyway, we got to get to, we're talking about the borders. Liz Lemery Joy, she came out with something. She says it very well at newsmax.com. If you go there, you can check it out. Here's what she says here. If you're ready, Mel, we're ready too.
I mean, when we see that there are that the containers that can hold, that there's 400 people being crammed into containers, children, I might add, that can only hold 260, that is a crisis, and nobody in America wants to see anything like that happen to children. I mean, we have our law enforcement at the border coming out and telling the American people what is happening, and yet
videos.
The Biden-Harris administration is wiping it under the rug, pretending that it's not even happening. And these people are not being tested.
Looks like a real cage.
They're not getting IDs to come into our country. They're just being released into the country, and then we're having to pay for it on our backs with our tax money when we have 10 million people that are unemployed. I have to tell you a story about what happened yesterday. I simply went to the store. I went to Target just simply to get Dimetapp, children's Dimetapp, cold and cough. I had to present my license. They had to take down my birthday, and I'm a United States citizen, and this is just to buy Dimetapp. They're not even doing that at the border. And we know that people are coming
God
through.
forbid they
that
do that
there's
when you
sex
vote.
trafficking,
Oh, yeah.
that there's kidnapping, that there's gangs, that there's drugs. And people are outraged about this. What they're doing is lying to the American people.
No.
Right, and these are the types of things that American citizens have to deal with on a daily basis. Getting on a plane, show your ID, to buy certain types of medication,
good.
show your
What
ID.
I wanted to say is you saw the video in the front of,
Yes.
of the nice, clean facility.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The nice, clean facility. Now, had this been now apparently they're not allowing the media actually down to the border. They're allowing them certain framed shots, and that being one of them.
Yeah.
Had this been the Trump administration, you would have seen literally the caged up kids. Now those
The
cages,
smoke bombs.
those cages are still there.
Yeah.
And they're still being utilized, and they're still in I guess not very good conditions.
Right.
But since it's not the orange man that's in charge, they're going to show you the nice footage like that.
And this comes down to the real point, and one of the what we talk about systemic, and put something after that, systemic media issues. What the issues come from stems from the media. The media is portraying these things as they aren't, but as what they want people to believe as they are, and these people are not suffering really. Have you been to Latino countries? I don't know if you've been on these mission trips.
No.
Okay, but over there, I mean, listen, is there people that are suffering? Yeah, but just like here, now you have to. There's standards of suffering. There really is. As horrible as that might sound, here too. Some people are middle class. There's lower class. There's homeless, and then you've got people who are just way high above the sky. It's the same thing over there. I've met them all. I've dined with some of the most wealthiest people in Guatemala, and it was awesome. But I also spent most of my time with the poorest of poor. Now, I want to tell you something, though. The poorest of poor weren't itching to get anywhere except for just growing their crops and doing the best that they could where they were at. And that's the majority. Some of these other people, when they're watching the media, just like we're doing with COVID, and getting all, out of their minds, like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. I got to get a mask. I got to get 2 masks. I got to get 3 masks. I better get a whole box on my head. You know what I mean? And then you have to stay inside and quarantine. And you just hear all these things and just scaremongering and fear-mongering. And then you go over there, and the same thing. They're watching our media too. And they're seeing that, wow, it's definitely better over there because they're getting more stuff. There's more. I don't ever have to want. I lived there. I'm an American. I wasn't receiving a paycheck. But I enjoyed the benefits of being in that country just because of where I was at. They have malls. They have different places. They have incredible sights and views and food. I would actually prefer their food over ours because it's fresh off the stinking tree. I don't want to be here when it comes to that kind of thing. I can pick a banana or a papaya or go to the avocado tree and grab what I want. A lemon, mango, corn. Just
He's going to go down the whole citrus menu here in a second.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I have been to Mexico.
You have been, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was thinking about mission trips and not thinking about it was,
Just going, yeah.
Well, no, it was a honeymoon. I went to Mexico.
Okay, so you were on the outskirts, on the beautiful parts.
Yeah.
You didn't,
But we did drive through
I'm
the
sure
city.
he didn't go to Mexico City.
And we actually
Yeah.
went to the temple,
Yeah.
to the pyramids, and,
Yeah.
and we got to actually go through some of the towns and,
Yep.
and visit some of the surrounding areas. So it was, I was driving by people with
Yep.
painted houses and had, salad at the top of their houses.
Yes.
So clearly there's whether you're in America, and it's interesting because when you go outside of America, you see what poor really is.
Right.
And I'm
right.
not marginalizing people here who are poor,
Right.
people who are homeless, but there's a lot of people who want to come to this country. When I was in the Philippines, there was a big surge of Filipino women who wanted to come to America,
Mm-hmm.
and they knew that the way they could by is finding some wealthy, or according to them wealthy,
Mm-hmm.
rich American guy, and that's how they came to America. So everybody wants to come to this country, but yet it's so bad and so poor.
Right.
Communism. Never mind. I'm not even getting into that.
No, go for it.
Because we're talking about all these third world countries, communist nations, poor nations, all those models that we're trying to replicate of these awful countries. Nobody's knocking. Nobody's trying to leave our country to go to places like that. They're all trying to come here.
There's
but
no caravan to Venezuela.
Yeah, but yet.
Can you scroll down just a little bit? There must be more to that sentence. It's important to read my message. Okay.
Can you hit the C translation? We can get it in English.
I'm fine.
I'm glad you are. There we go. Go ahead, read that.
What is this? Wow.
It gets longer as it's in English.
Okay, I ask exonerated for the inconvenience. I just saw your profile, and you can be the person I need. Ultimately, half of them. Okay, what is this? I am Spanish origin, residing in France. I suffer from a severe illness.
Oh,
Okay.
this is
Yeah,
we
that's
just got spammed.
That's interesting.
We just got spammed.
Yeah,
on the
thank
Ken and
you.
Mike show.
You know, I was gonna waste my time in reading that. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, let's put that back in Spanish.
But we got their WhatsApp number,
Yeah,
so
I'm not gonna escriba you, because I'm not gonna write to you, and I'm not gonna tell you anything. But I will say this: yeah, hide that comment. So here's the thing, though. The reality is what you're just saying. I know you're not trying to marginalize anybody, but again, there's a certain standard, and I know that we have a high standard here, and it is a great country. You know, unfortunately, we just have. Look, I would say that our leaders that we have now are worse than your leaders. I wouldn't come over here.
we're trying so hard to turn this into a communist nation, but yet all the people that are coming from communist nations are saying,
coming here.
What are you doing?
And that is why there are people, especially the Chinese, that were there. They were there at the.
Don't talk about it. We'll get banned again.
Oh, okay. There were many people
At that day, on a certain day of a certain
there
month.
were people, and they still do this. They are what is the name of the organization?
The People's Communist Party,
Whatever that is, yeah. Saying like, don't let that happen. They fled from that. They don't want it to come here. They know what it's like.
It's on its way.
Yeah, I know. That's
It's
what's unfortunate.
on its way.
That's what's unfortunate. I think you have a couple of pictures you wanted to put up there.
But as Reagan said,
Yeah.
we are the last stand.
Yes, that's exactly right. Now, folks, I want you to take a look at this while Mel puts this up on the screen. You got which one do you have up there right now? The 2014, 2021. Okay. So this is, and I can't see yet, but this is the 2021 version of what? Of of what's happening now?
Yes.
Okay, of what's happening now. And then we're going to go back in a second. And you're going to see, okay, this is 2021. Go ahead and describe this picture, Mel.
Well, the one on the right is their new title for the Kids in Cages.
Yes.
Is their facilities that they have that magically just appeared. And then this is not internment camps. I'm sorry. I didn't mean the wrong term. This is one of the camps they have where they go in and it looks like they're feeding them water and other stuff and whatnot. The one on the right is actually kids. So they're actually walking kids.
Now, the one on the right is 2021, correct?
They both are.
Oh, they both are. Okay.
Yeah. They both are what's currently going on right now. And then this
is
one,
down on the border.
This is down at the border.
Okay.
Now, this one looks very similar, but different.
Okay. And this is during the presidency of Barack Hussein Obama, correct?
Correct.
You had to. You had to.
Sorry, I'll change that because that was rude. That was rude of me. Barack Insane Obama. Okay, here we go. So this is same thing. Explain this one, Mel.
Clearly, there's a crisis at the border when there was Obama.
Right.
So is that the fact that the matter of who's in office is really the issue?
Right.
As they
Well, sure it does, because it's Obama and Biden.
Right.
That's when they have the onslaught of people. Can you have a shot of during the Trump administration? It's probably just all crickets, right?
They were.
Well, the reason I found these
Yes.
ones, the reason I wanted to find one, because we've seen the ones with during Trump's era, but the media seems like to think that all of a sudden like these things just like disappear,
Yes.
never happened, and I wanted rather than to show that they're still going on. They've been going on. When Obama was in office, who was his right-hand man?
Well, we know.
Okay. So it's not like the
Obama?
crisis was only during Trump's era.
Right.
It was prior to Trump. It was the years of Obama. It was prior to Obama. We know it goes back way further than that. Obama tried his whole DACA thing. And now we go back to
What they're saying right now is the worst it's been in 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
right now.
110%.
All the stuff clips I've seen,
Yeah.
I haven't seen as many clips that seem like it's as bad as during the Trump. And I'm not saying Trump's era was bad, but the media made it seem like it was so much worse.
Well, we've seen some videos. Now, I don't know how true some of these are, but remember some of the videos that we were watching, and one of them was showing some of the footage and some of the editing that was done in some of the footages?
Yes.
I don't know, but I mean, it's pretty crazy. And honestly, they were only showing certain things so that, again, it could kind of skew the real message and provide the information that they only wanted to provide so that it would look bad for Trump. He literally was trying to keep our border safe. And people were getting in here illegally. This is why we were making a wall. And this is why we need a wall. This is why we need a wall. This is why we needed a wall. This is why it needs to keep growing. Not because we hate anyone, but because it becomes what is happening today. Mm-hmm. And in those times, though, some of that footage that you saw, those kids weren't even with their parents. Mm-hmm. I mean, that wasn't footage like, oh my gosh, these children and their parents, and they just need to be here, and they're separated from their families. That's not our fault that they decided to separate from their families to try to get here. They weren't fleeing anything. And a matter of fact, they put themselves in a war zone going through Mexico.
I call bogus on that. I really don't care. Let me ask
bogus
you.
on what? What are you talking about?
On the separating of the families. That was their big argument.
Oh, you're saying you're calling that bogus?
Yeah.
Because it is bogus.
Well, I'm going to say they are separating them from their family. I don't care. Let me ask you a question.
You're saying they are separating?
Yeah, they're separating them from family.
Oh, they are, yeah.
Whether it's on the border
mm-hmm.
or whether it's you're getting a DWI on the streets.
Yes.
Okay? If a dad or anybody is doing something illegal,
yes,
okay, what happens? You get separated from your family.
And that's my point.
Dad gets a DWI. He's got a kid in the back seat. What happens? Dad gets separated, but all these poor kids are being separated. Break the law, you're going to get separated.
Exactly. And
whether it's on the southern border,
yeah.
whether it's the freaking Mounties coming down from Canada, whether it's
I thought you were calling bogus on me. I'm like that's the point I was making.
On the narrative.
Yes, yeah,
just
100%. I agree with you. Yeah,
you got to stop trying to pull the emotional heartstrings on that. Oh, the children, you're separating them from their family. Break the law, you're getting separated from your family.
Exactly.
I don't care if it's stealing a candy bar at the local CVS
mm-hmm. store,
or whether it's breaking or jumping across our borders. You broke the law. You're gonna get detained.
Yes.
You're gonna get put before a judge. And in the process, I'm sorry, little Sarah that's in the car seat, or little Sarah that's holding the bag at the border is gonna be sucking their thumb or on their blanket or on their binky because you screwed up.
Exactly.
You took the risk, and we're gonna separate them. And I'm sorry, they're getting put in cages or in confinement areas. What do you want us to do with them?
Exactly.
Throw them in a dumpster, start over?
Right. No, they want them housed very well. That's their problem right there. That's the whole problem. Why would they get a better house than somebody else who's doing the right thing?
When a family member messes up here in the States, what do you do with the children? They get put into social services.
Yes.
And where do they get put? They get put into homes. I mean, I would probably liken them to cages as well.
Yeah,
it's not.
Listen to the stories.
It's not living. It's not living at the Ritz-Carlton.
No, it's not. No,
so
it's uncomfortable.
Let's start calling it as it is. Use some common sense, and let's start talking about things as facts, black and white. Yes, I'm not trying to sound unsympathetic,
mm-hmm.
but the facts are the facts. It's time to grow a set,
mm-hmm.
okay, and deal with what the issue is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Sally's got a broken heart because Dad just broke the law to jump the border.
Right.
Sorry. Get over it. You broke the law. I'm sorry, Stevie out there in Chicago who just gunned down someone else on the street corner. Oh, but the kids, you broke the law.
But this is that goes to another problem. Whether it's with sanctuary cities or whether you have these criminals who have come here illegally, they get detained or they get sometimes incarcerated for a little while. And they get put back out on the streets instead of being put back in their country, which is another thing that Trump was trying to make sure happened. We don't want another criminal, and he would constantly get tagged for that. Like, oh, he just can't stand these people, and he's so narcissistic,
and criminals.
He's so he's such a nationalist, and he's such a fascist, and all these different things. Any name you can possibly think of. all because he wants to make sure that we're safe here, because he doesn't want criminals running around. And that's the same thing that goes with anybody. Now, whether you're black or white or whatever you do, you commit a crime, you should go to jail. Mm-hmm. Now, but when it comes to, like, not George Floyd, but some of these other guys, I mean, in general, I'm not just talking about him, when they're actually committing, who was the hands up, don't shoot thing? And they...
Out west.
Okay.
I don't remember the guy's name.
They came with all the evidence to prove exactly what actually happened, and even still, they want to make it out to be like, remember that everybody's doing the hands up, don't shoot type of thing. Everybody was doing it. Football players were doing it. Everybody was doing it when the narrative was wrong. And so when you're doing something, when you're robbing a place at a convenience store, and then you charge somebody, a police officer, or whatever you do that's against the law, you break it, you should be punished. I'm not saying you should always be killed. That's not the point. But I'm saying that that's what happens, what you said, at the border.
Play stupid games, get stupid prizes.
That's exactly right. This is why we have, it's called illegal immigration. It's because we need to have it legal and done legally. And if you want to come over here, you do it the right way. You start the paperwork. You make the phone call. Whatever you want to do. If that's what you want to come over, let's see why. Why do you want to come? Why do you want to come over? We're hearing, like you said, the interviews, because Biden, he's just a great guy, and he said we can. Okay, what are you going to do here, though? Get a job. Join the club. There's a lot of people that are looking for jobs right now. What are you going to do? I'm sure you'll get hired by somebody for cash, but whatever.
The other thing is we're willing to shell out $86 million without even thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
To illegals that come over. But let's go to your local underpass or go out to San Francisco where you got all these homeless people. Mm-hmm. If we can just, at the jump of a hat, just because I said so, house some people at the Days Inn, why can't you do it to the homeless population that's sitting there out in front of Nancy Pelosi's house?
Right. I don't know.
So the hypocrisy is what's disgusting and it's daunting. Now, I'm not saying that we should do that, because I'm not saying that the American tax dollars should be paying for everybody to have a room, but I'm just using that to contrast. If we can just flip of a switch, house some illegal immigrants and not have them pay the price for being illegal, and just we're going to house them and everything's all fun and dandy. We can do that to the people out there, in front of Nancy Pelosi's district.
Exactly. What we should be doing, and not we, but in general, when it comes to the
media.
You
got big pockets, you can do it.
The media and the administration should come alongside and be like, listen, we need to get this message out loud and clear to Mexico, to Guatemala, to Honduras, to El Salvador, whoever. And then I'm using them to Africa, to Indonesia, to China, to wherever. You can't be here if you're illegal.
Trump got that message out.
I know.
Well, there is a process. If you are past Mexico, you're coming from another country and going to go through Mexico, you have to claim asylum in Mexico before you can bypass. It's not monopoly. You can collect 200 and pass go. You got to claim it there first. There's a process. That process is not, now, of course, we can't force the other governments to do that.
Right.
But that's the process is supposed to be. And if your claim is valid, then you can come to America and also say, listen, I applied here for asylum and I got it. I applied here for asylum and I got it. Our end place was to come to America.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a wall where they can all go to, ports of entry, it'd be a much faster, easier process. We don't need all these quote unquote facilities to host people.
But I know how right it would be.
Yeah, right.
Well, it'd be easy to process claims and not have to worry about chasing down criminals who are not coming back.
Think about these trillions of dollars in the stimulus and the $86 million, if that's really even whatever they did with that. How much more wall would be able to build there, and how much more would we have the crisis under control if we actually utilize that money in the right manner?
How about all the money for the T-shirts?
I don't.
How about the money for the T-shirts?
How about the money for the BMG Network T-shirts?
No, for the Biden T-shirts.
Yeah, right.
No, they're all yeah.
Wow, I don't even know this. What? I'm off.
How are immigrants coming into the U.S. come to America have Biden T-shirts on?
Oh, they do. That's what I'm asking. They have Biden. I didn't see these.
They have Biden T-shirts on.
They don't even know this man. They just know like Biden good. Why is he good? I don't know.
They're increasing the voting base, and we all know that.
Yes.
I mean, anybody with a rational mind is a rational citizen of this country. And we'll be able to sit back and say there's nothing good that can come from a porous border. Nothing.
Right.
There's nothing good. It doesn't help your children.
Yeah.
It doesn't help your neighbor. It doesn't help the American citizen.
No.
Just to be overthrown. And again, we have no problem with the people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to go and risk saying something like, you know, like President Trump said, you know, we don't want criminals coming across the border. The second you start saying that, he hates all Mexicans. I mean, where'd that come from?
Right. I know.
But we just can't have this happening, and it's going to hurt us more than we're willing to admit.
Yeah.
It really is.
I just think back to how much of a beautiful presidency we did have in the last election. We had somebody that was completely outside. It was kind of the old way of doing things. Like, for example, I allude back to George Washington. Now, he wasn't just like somebody that nobody knew. He helped win the stinking war in a way better manner than most people. Not just with wits. I mean, excuse me, not with war, but with wits. And the reason why he did that is because he had a spy network. All these different things I was telling you about last time. The great thing about that is he was a great man. There was other good men that were really smart. He wasn't educated like the rest of them, like Thomas Jefferson and those guys. But he was incredibly smart. He read a lot because he had to, because he wanted to catch up and be aligned with everybody. But he knew the country very well because he was navigating all the time. Now we kind of had someone like that when it came to to President Trump. We had somebody that was completely on the outside, but understood the country, understood the economy, understood business, understood why we should be where we needed to go and how we need to get there. Yeah.
I was just reading what Jim said.
Yes. I mean, go ahead. Wait a second. Yeah.
Jim said, I'm wondering what you guys believe is the real reason why they want the immigrants to come to the country. And I've said that many times.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Robert. They want a voter base.
Yeah.
They know if they can guarantee or if they can promise a particular people group that we're going to take care of you, we're going to feed you, we're going to house you, give you medical, blah, 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 that they're always going to vote a certain way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right on. I mean, I think that's one of the main things. More people to control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's more people to control. And again, there's theories out there too, by the way. I mean, you hear this they tout these things, why we have to preserve our environment so much, and why we have to like be cautious on the amount of kids we have, population control. So stop having kids, but bring more people from other countries in.
Well,
that are going to be popping out babies like crazy.
I have a theory.
Okay.
That, I mean, the only thing that foreign countries know about us is what the media tells them.
Oh, yeah. Exactly what we were just talking about. Yeah.
Okay. So if they're able to feed us particular narrative, a particular dialogue, I've said this before. I'll go on a limb. I mean, I don't know how true it is. We keep it open borders. But I will go out on a limb and say predominantly most of the American culture and American people have predominantly traditional conservative views, for the most part. If you're able to kind of dilute what the American traditional culture is by bringing people in that are only fed a narrative of what America looks like from a very left-leaning liberal or liberal media, they're going to have a new voter base that perverts our traditional culture that they, like you just said, that they can control and that they can swing their agenda with.
Yes.
So basically dilute out who we are as a nation, change the landscape like I've always been saying, and bring in these people, then they have more of a foothold on their political agenda in this country.
Absolutely. And that's what I was alluding to before about living over there and watching their way, and they watch our news. They see the media and they understand where we're at by what the media says.
Jim, I don't agree with you. Maybe a very small reason because they're really not able to vote. But that's what they're pushing for.
Yeah.
That's what the whole voter ID
that's why they don't want voter
That's why
ID.
they don't want the voter ID laws, is because they want anybody to be able to walk into a local voting booth and be able to pull the lever for whomever. And if they can predominantly say that 90% of these people that they're letting in are going to vote Democratic, we don't want them to have an ID. We just want them to be able to pull a lever.
Remember too, Jim, and you know, I don't know when they're going to be able to vote right away, but I mean they have recently. But what they are doing is they're making some of these the transition to become legal here much easier. So these people that do come over here illegally.
Yes. How do you spell USA?
Yeah. They're
You
gonna,
in?
Yeah, they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it much easier for them in the process, so they can become legal here and give them cards. This is why, if you remember years ago, not that many years ago, when they were pushing for them getting a license to drive, what does that do for them? It gives them some type of identification, and that's what you're gonna see here. And so therefore, come here legally. Well, they're here now. Somehow we got to get them processed into society and let them be part of the country. And whenever maybe they're counting. Maybe they want a certain amount of numbers. I have no idea. But the reality is like what you were saying too. Back to what you're saying, and what I was mentioning earlier is about living over there. The media is showing them something, and they're obviously being glued to it. They're glued to it and wanting to come here for whatever they're being told. Now, I'm not over there watching the media, but that is essentially what is happening. Absolutely.
Well,
right, but they wanted them in 4 years, and they haven't got that yet. Okay.
Well,
yeah. Why they wanted what in 4 years?
they wanted them in 4 years, and they haven't got that yet. I'm not following what he's saying.
Explain a little bit more, Jim. I don't know. In 4 years, I'm not sure. Oh, they want that with maybe in 4 years so they can vote for the next election. Not sure. Maybe it's something like that. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. All I know is it's not going good. At all. But again, just look at the percentage of people, and we know this, who are leaving New York, leaving California, going to southern states, going places that are more conservative, got that feel to it. People are pretty much flocking together to with whom they believe, as far as their belief system goes and what they believe America is. When you start to see, for me, when you start to see that happens, it reminds you of the 1800s. Then time went by, and then there was a north, and then there was a south. Maybe this is going to be a more of a southern.
Yeah, I wouldn't say east.
Yeah, I wouldn't say east. But basically, it's going to be you're going to just see something happen here, and I'm not talking about war, but I'm talking about people just really being the divide in the country. Though it's obvious to us, it's going to be incredibly obvious to the people of the
Jim
country.
says, I believe you're wrong there. It's all about the money they get funded. So much money to deal with immigration that they help the process of them coming, and the housing and the $86 million that they were able to steal so much from the fake funding. I don't think it comes down to money anymore.
Well,
I get what he's alluding to.
Our money,
but it's going
to have no
it's
value.
It's no longer about money with these people. It's about power.
Yeah.
The money, they have all the money they want at their disposal. They're printing it left and right.
Yes.
They're proving it, and the money has no value anymore.
Yes.
So whether it's you're feeding illegal immigrants, wherever you're throwing this money, it's not about money anymore to them. Yeah. It's all about pure power and being able to control everything.
Well, Jim, if you have like 15 minutes of your time at one of these moments, go to the BMGnetwork.com and check out the Pac-Man podcast. He has one entitled the End Game, and he kind of goes into this a little bit because and he said it on the show a few weeks back when he came on for 10 minutes or so at the end of the show, and he talked about that because we said, what is the end game? Really, that's what he says. It's about control because we're watching eventually inflation. It's going to hit. It's not like it's right now. It's a matter of time, and it's pretty much here.
It's just an excuse for the Great Reset.
Right, exactly. Because again, you can't just keep printing money. This can't. And so I know what you're saying with the $86 million. They have $86 million to play with right now, but that's not going to go far in the future. So what are they going to do then? It is about power. It's got to be about power. And control, because. And look at China, by the way. We didn't even mention this, and I know we're kind of getting at the end of the time here, but we've just watched China pretty much diss our administration.
We watched China call America out.
Which doesn't bother me, by the way, Mike. And not in a sense.
It bothers my pride.
No.
It bothers my ego.
No. What I mean, I don't mean as an American citizen. I mean, it doesn't bother me that they're actually calling it out for what it is. Like, this administration, with all due respect, it's pathetic. It's
weak.
I forget the exact words that she used, but the ambassador, whoever he was, basically said, America will not talk to us from a place of power.
Because they're not at a place of power.
And I'm not saying she's wrong.
Right. That's my point. Now, it hurts my pride because I don't think that
I'm just saying, but how dare you talk to us
But
that way.
like you
Now,
said, the
Trump
leaders
was
are
in-
watching
if
us
Trump
right now.
was in the White House and somebody said that wouldn't happen.
No. You know why though? Because now I know this ambassador was a woman, but a man talks to a man like a man, right? And you know what? A man respects that. If you talk to a man kind of like oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings and your emotions and stuff like that. And no, Trump was like, hey, this isn't going to happen.
No, Trump says you walk into a room, you scan the room and you see who's the strongest, who's the most powerful, who's the smartest. Trump did that. He walked into a room and he commanded the room because he had that confidence, and other leaders see that. Leaders see confidence and say, that's a man who leads.
Right, exactly. And so that kind of leadership right there tells the rest of the world, hey, I'm not going to mess around, but I'm willing to negotiate. I'm willing to work with you. See, these people say like, oh, we're going to work with the rest of the world in this administration. No, you're not. You're not. Trump was doing that, but he was just saying, you guys are taking care of your country. I'm taking care of my country, and that's the way it should be. Because I'm not the president of the world. I'm the president of the United States, the free country. And I'm going to keep it that way. So if you mess with that, I'm not going to let you do that. See, we have someone in there, same thing when the Obama administration was in here. This is just way worse. It's just, it's very pansy-esque, you know, if that's a word. It's pansy.
New Ken word for the day, pansy-esque. Can we coin that?
I just
Pansy-esque.
took my fence down at my house. Does that make me a Democrat now?
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a white fence.
You don't believe in... Oh, my gosh.
Man, ouch.
Mel.
Did you take it down because it was white?
No, I took it down because
Why don't you just repaint it?
I did.
Black.
I didn't want it anymore.
No.
I'm tired of washing it. It's easy to mow the lawn. I'm selling it.
Yeah, you are.
Anybody
what kind of
wants
fence
it?
was it?
It's vinyl.
Oh, yeah. That's a pretty good fence.
Yeah. So anybody wants it?
Robert says, ask yourself why they're
We did. We talked about that in the beginning of the show.
Okay.
Coming in here about that.
welfare, food stamps, free housing, free education, stimulus money, and that's the thing. I think we did mention that the stimulus money going to these. Look at what are they going to do with it if they're staying at places that they're getting paid for anyway?
Full
what are they doing with this money?
I mean, we're getting the money, and like we said, it's not going to be worth anything because
Right.
we'll be paying for it, whatever. But could I use it? Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't want the American. Now, this way of thinking is so foreign to half the culture.
Yeah.
I don't want your handout.
Right.
I want you to give me a job. I
Mhm.
want a job. I don't want the paycheck.
Yes.
I want the job.
Give me a grant for a business. Yeah.
And someone's paying
Yeah.
for that. But give me. Let's open up the country. Give us a job. I'd rather have a weekly paycheck than a one-time $1,400
Right.
pay.
Exactly. Because it only goes so far.
Right. So let's open the country back up. Let's start doing business the way we were doing business. Let's stop bailing people out because eventually our kids are paying for all this.
Exactly.
My kids, your kids, their kids are going to continue to pay for this. You know, the excuse to just throw money at a problem. We talked about the college tuition thing, and stop. Their answer is just to forgive everybody of money and give them things.
Right.
As Margaret Thatcher said, eventually you're going to run out of other people's money.
Right.
We've reached that point. It's time to stop.
What do? You just like you said, the Great Reset. What does that even look like if that were to happen?
Silver and gold.
Right, but is it just like,
gold.
listen, we are stopping all currency. Everybody take one day. Just go burn the money. We're starting over. What do you do? Start printing again?
That happened in countries. I forget what country it was,
Greece.
but they had
Yeah.
pallets of money just laying in the street because it was worth nothing.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
It was just
Yeah.
worth nothing. It was just there. People were taking
That's
it
right.
and just cleaning themselves, wiping their butts
Yeah.
and stuff because it was just worth nothing.
There's a visual.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Well, I think we've run out of time, and we're going
Yeah.
to end on the wiping our behind
Yes.
with money.
Yeah, we appreciate it. By the way, again, go to the BMGnetwork.com. Go to the About page. Go to the info. Email us at the About page. You can see how you can submit that. Tell us the size of your T-shirt, or if you want a mug, we'll hook you up and tell us what you want exactly.
Where can they find us, Kenny?
They can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, The Ken and Mike Show, on Facebook.
And we'll be back here next week.
We will be.
Tuesday.
Eastern Standard Time at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There it is. But again, check out all the great podcasts on the BMGnetwork.com. Set Apart with KC. Mic'd Up with Mike Hansen, The Ken Burns Show, and the Pac-Man Podcast. All there for you, the listener. God bless you guys.
See you next week.
The Ken and Mike Show.